When a club like Vasco da Gama produces a major talent, it's never just about football. It's about hope, collective hope. The feeling that, even after years of crisis, bad decisions, and instability, something inside the club still works. Because producing talent has always been one of Brazilian football's last lines of resistance. And for Vasco, more than anywhere else, it has always been about identity. That is exactly how Rayan appeared. Before the spotlight, before the numbers, before the international headlines, there was only a boy with a ball at his feet, a dream in his eyes, and a journey that started very far from European glamour. Rayan did not emerge by chance, and that might be the most important part of his story. He is the product of a path Brazilian football knows well, but one that is becoming increasingly rare. Dirt pitches, futsal courts, local academies, youth categories, and above all, persistence. No shortcuts, no early viral videos, no manufactured hype. From a very young age, coaches noticed something different. Not just technical quality, many players have that, but personality. Rayan was never the player who hid from the game. Never the kid who waited for the perfect pass on his dominant foot. He asked for the ball. He demanded responsibility. He looked comfortable under pressure. And in football, that cannot be taught. That is competitive character. Rayan's arrival at Vasco's academy marked a turning point, not only for him, but for the club itself. Sao Januario has always carried symbolic weight, especially when it comes to attackers. Generations of forwards emerged there, each defining their era in different ways. Rayan didn't fit that lineage because he resembled someone from the past. He fit because he understood the game, even during some of the most difficult institutional years in Vasco's history. The academy preserved a clear principle: to develop players who think football, decision-making, game intelligence, collective understanding, tactical responsibility. Rayan absorbed those concepts naturally, playing mainly as a wide attacker, but with freedom to roam across the final third. Rayan showed a rare combination of traits: clean first touch, explosive acceleration over short distances, genuine one-on-one ability, and, most importantly, intelligence to attack empty spaces. He was never a flashy dribbler. That distinction matters. Rayan does not dribble for vanity. He does not dribble to appear on highlight reels. He does not dribble to inflate statistics. In his game, the dribble has purpose. It is a tool to break defensive lines, to gain positional advantage, to create numerical superiority. That type of maturity is exactly what European clubs look for, because it shows a player understands when and why to take risks. Inside the club, internal reports were always consistent. Rayan trained seriously, listened, corrected mistakes, improved quickly. While many young talents get lost in expectations, Rayan seemed to understand something essential early on. Football is a long-term construction. That mentality would become decisive for the next step. The year 2025 became the real turning point. Rayan stopped being just an internal prospect and started being monitored at a national level, not because of inflated numbers, but because of real impact. He didn't enter matches to be noticed. He entered to solve problems. Big games didn't intimidate him. Hostile environments didn't affect him. And in modern football, that leads to one inevitable outcome: international interest. European clubs monitor Brazil constantly, but only a few players enter what scouts call the priority radar. Rayan did. The reports highlighted physical power compatible with European football, progressive speed, tactical adaptability, ideal age for development. He wasn't raw talent. He was a player with structure, and that is where the story takes its next step. When news of European interest became public, the reaction was predictable. Why not a giant? Why not Spain? Why not Italy? In Brazilian football culture, success is still often measured by logos, by shirt weight, by how impressive the destination looks on paper. But football development does not follow branding. It follows context. And this is where the story becomes more interesting. At first glance, Bournemouth does not feel glamorous. No continental titles, no historic dominance, no permanent presence on the back pages of newspapers. But for a young Brazilian attacker, that is not a weakness. It is an advantage. Bournemouth has built a reputation as a club that understands process, a club that gives minutes, that allows mistakes, that develops players instead of suffocating them. For Rayan, this meant something rare in European football: a pathway. Young talents who move too early to massive clubs often face the same trap. They arrive as future stars, but live as bench options. They train, they wait, They get loaned. They lose rhythm. They lose confidence. The problem is rarely technical. It is contextual. Rayan's camp understood that. The Premier League, especially through mid-table clubs, has become one of the smartest environments for development. High intensity, elite competition, but without the crushing pressure of immediate stardom. Bournemouth fit that model perfectly. The deal, estimated around €35 million, was historic. But more than historic, it was symbolic. It represented validation for Vasco's academy, for its methodology, for its capacity to form and sell talent at elite level. Rayan didn't leave as just another player. He left as a strategic asset. For a club that endured years of instability, that changes everything. The 5-year contract says more than any headline. Bournemouth did not sign Rayan as a short-term bet. They signed him as a project. The plan is clear. Adapt physically, understand the league's rhythm, develop decision-making under pressure. There is no rush. That alone already separates this move from so many failed transitions. Rayan represents a profile that modern football values deeply. He combines Brazilian instinct with European tactical behavior. He is not a reckless dribbler, nor a winger trapped on the touchline. His game is based on space interpretation, explosive progression, objective decision-making. That makes him adaptable to multiple tactical systems. Many talk about Rayan's pace, but it's not just straight-line speed. It's short acceleration, quick change of direction, the ability to explode immediately after controlling the ball. In the Premier League, that is gold. High defensive lines, compact blocks, fast transitions. That is exactly where Rayan feels comfortable. Rayan learned early what many only realize after failing in Europe. Modern football demands intelligence. He tracks back, closes passing lanes, understands when to slow the game and when to accelerate. At Vasco, coaches constantly highlighted his capacity to absorb tactical concepts and correct mistakes quickly. For English clubs, that detail weighs heavily. Bournemouth offers something young talents desperately need. Controlled pressure. There are expectations. There are demands. But there is also patience. Objectives are medium-term. Development is progressive. Criticism is technical, not emotional. For Rayan, that environment is not luxury. It is survival. Rayan has not stepped onto a Premier League pitch yet. And still, everything has already changed. Because once a transfer number is revealed, football stops judging potential alone and starts judging value. Being the most expensive sale in Vasco's history is not just a statistic. It is a label. From that moment on, Rayan is no longer evaluated only by his performances. He is evaluated by the price tag. Every mistake becomes louder. Every good moment becomes obligation. Every quiet game turns into suspicion. And the number never plays alone. For an 18-year-old, this can destroy confidence or accelerate maturity. Everything depends on how that pressure is absorbed. In Brazil, Rayan was a promise. In England, he's an investment. That difference changes everything. Promises are allowed to fail. Investments are expected to justify themselves. The Premier League is ruthless in that sense. There will be matches where Rayan barely touches the ball. Moments where decisions go against him. Weeks where criticism appears faster than praise. That does not mean failure. It means process. Very few people talk about this. Living in Europe is lonely for young South American players. New language, new weather, new culture, new routines. Many talents fail not because they lack football, but because they lose emotional connection. Bournemouth understands that. The club structured off-field support, cultural adaptation programs, family integration, psychological monitoring. These details rarely make headlines, but they often define careers. The Premier League does not forgive. Rayan will face stronger defenders, higher intensity, a congested calendar, cold nights, relentless pressing. The club's plan includes targeted muscle development, resistance training, explosive strength work, not to change his style, but to protect it. Every player makes mistakes. Rayan will make them too. What matters is response, learning speed, humility, resilience. So far, his career shows positive signs. But now the stage is different. This is where many disappear, and where few transform. Rayan's departure from Vasco is not just a big sale. It is a statement about academy value, about planning, about timing. Some transfers speak louder than goals. This is one of them. Rayan leaves Brazil early, but not blindly. He leaves prepared, aware that talent alone is not enough. Every great football story shares one truth. It does not end when a player leaves a club. It changes scenery. And with Rayan, the story is only beginning. Every generation produces talent. Very few produce clarity. Rayan's journey is not remarkable only because of where he is going, but because of how he is getting there. There is a moment in every young player's career where football stops being about discovery and becomes about expectation. This is that moment for Rayan. From now on, he will no longer be judged by what he could become, but by what he delivers under pressure. The margin for error gets smaller. The patience from the outside disappears. The noise grows louder. And this is where many stories break. Brazilian football loves comparisons. The next star, the next export, the next success story. But comparisons do not build careers. They suffocate them. Rayan does not need to be the next anyone. He needs to be the first Rayan. A player shaped by his own timing, his own context, his own mistakes. The Bournemouth project is not glamorous. And that is exactly why it works. Controlled pressure, real minutes, clear development path. This is where players learn to survive in Europe before learning to dominate it. For Rayan, this matters more than status. Success for Rayan is not immediate stardom, is adaptation, understanding the league, handling physical duels, learning when to accelerate and when to slow the game down. If he becomes reliable, the rest will come naturally. Rayan represents something rare, a Brazilian attacker with instinct and structure, not reckless, not robotic, a player who understands space, reads the game, and makes decisions with purpose. This is what modern football demands. For Vasco, this transfer means more than money. It restores belief. Belief that producing talent still matters. Belief that the academy still works. Belief that identity can survive chaos. Rayan leaves as proof that even in difficult years, something was done right. From now on, there are no shortcuts. Only training, adaptation, patience. Rayan will fail at times. And that is not a problem. The problem would be stopping. Talent opens doors. Context decides how long they stay open. Rayan understood that early, and that may be his greatest advantage. If you believe football careers are built with timing, context, and patience, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments, was Bournemouth the right step for Rayan's development? Or should he have waited longer in Brazil? See you in the next video.